What's going on? Come here. What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach. Smile, come on. It's your favorite dating coach, Elliott Scott. I can hide that, okay. And as you can see by the title below, we're going to talk about, let me fix this. We're going to talk about how to get a man to actually miss you. What are the ingredients, the components to make a guy reminisce and think about you? Now, if you want to maximize attraction, meaning tenfold his feelings for you, for where they are right now, tenfold that, right? And get them to want you, see you long term, to stick out from the competition and not look elsewhere. Check out my guide down below. Is an attraction guide that teaches you how to literally tenfold your attraction and get a guy to see you as the one for him. Okay, so jumping right into this. Ladies, the first thing I want to talk about is something that none of you do, and these are going to all kind of layer on top of each other. If you want to get a guy to miss you, there has to be two things first. One or two rules. Don't do it just to do it because you need validation or you want him to chase you or he might be pulling a little bit of fucking bullshit here and there. That's communication. You want to communicate, hey, I'm not okay with you doing X, Y, Z. I need a little more consistency, and kind of get feedback and see where he stands. You never just want to do that crap to do it because it doesn't work out well. The second thing is to have a guy miss you. Let's say he is pulling some stuff and you guys go your separate ways or for whatever reason you pull away. You have to pull, let's say you guys are on just different pages. You have to pull away 100%. The problem so many women have, and that's not the answer, it's just something I'm saying. The problem so many women have is they don't give a man the opportunity to miss them. He might go and he might come back and she might say something or he might text something and she responds and things like that. But here's what women don't understand. There's like two layers of a guy like missing you. Okay, the first layer is where you both like go your separate ways or you say I'm done with you or whatever, but he knows you still desire him. He knows he still has the upper hand. He knows this power dynamic is in his favor. And if that's the case, he knows I can just come back whenever and BS you, weasel my way in, break that wall down, and then you're going to let me back in. Basically, the first layer is you could play this stuff and we are technically like not talking or going our separate ways or whatever it is, space, but I know I can get you. The second component of that is basically the next layer, which is a woman who actually doesn't give a shit. Even if you do, you're bluffing, like you're calling it out real hard, like you just don't give a shit. Maybe you do, but you're actually, you respect yourself and you're done with the whole thing. You're like, hey, you know what? I like you. You're a great guy. Besides all this bullshit, I'm done with it. I told you once, I'm actually done with it. And then you follow suit in your actions, your words, your reactions, or maybe lack of even, or show him, hey, holy shit, she actually might be serious. Okay? She actually might be serious. That's the whole first thing. Now, when that happens, it triggers something in the guy's brain. So women need to understand that from a survival standpoint. I talk about evolutionary psychology a lot. We love the reward system. We hate regret. We hate stress. We hate risk, okay? And not only do you have to pull away, but it's going to trigger something in the guy's brain now, which is the assets versus liabilities. Now he's going to start thinking, okay, can I get these assets elsewhere? Are these unique assets? Are they worth the cost? Meaning, is it worth actually reaching out and continuing this? Is it worth, like, was I just taking her for granted? Was it actually good shit? And it doesn't have to be just sexually. It could just be sexually. He could just want to come back around to bang you. But let's say you're actually a fun chick, an awesome chick. There's some depth. There's some rapport. There's some substance there between you guys. It's personality. It's chemistry. You never had this connection before. He might be feeling that kind of stuff too, but hesitant on committing. And so maybe that's why you pulled away. But it gets to a point now where a guy starts, I call it assets versus liabilities. You could call it a pros and cons list, but they start thinking about that kind of stuff. And it starts to reminisce in his head. And then the third component, finally, okay, so basically you have to actually pull away 100%. There actually has to be a reason for him to come back. Women will come to me and they'll be like, is he going to come back? And then I hear their story. I'm like, hell no, he's going to come back. Like, you're nothing but a liability. Like, you're high drama. You're super clingy. You know, I mean, if he wanted to come back for sex, he would give him somebody else who's not that. So you have to be honest with yourself, okay? So you have to have assets that are worth the liability, worth the cost for him to come back. And that could just be feelings, you know. That could just be feelings too, that he feels for you. And then the last thing is what the brain likes to do when these two instances compile and happen, okay? So let's say you're actually done with him. He's like, oh shit, she's done with me. Then he starts reminiscing about it. And he starts thinking about all these assets, and then he starts to regret it, okay? But sometimes when a guy starts to regret it, he actually doesn't come back right away because maybe pride or ego, or he doesn't want to give up the power dynamic, things like that. But here's what happens. Women think men are so different when it comes to this stuff. Like, we don't care about women, we don't have feelings, we don't reminisce, we don't think about you, we don't miss you, we don't get sad, things don't remind you of us. That's not true. It does. And the way the brain works is, if I had, again, go right back to the middle thing, if I had a lot of assets and a lot of good times with you and they're actually gone, I'm going to think, oh shit, I regret this. And when the brain sees that and it starts to see that you stress over it, or the man stress over it, okay? When he starts to overthink it or whatever, the brain, again, because the job of the organism is to survive and reproduce. To do that, it has to lower stress. To lower this stress, it starts to flood the mind with the memories, the good times, how good you suck him off, how good you look naked, how funny you are, how well you get him, how your personalities clash, clash in a good way, sorry, you know, or, not I guess clash, but you know, how you work together, you know, the inside jokes, just, you know, like now he has all this free time, what's he going to do with it? Like, the brain starts to flood him with all these type of things, okay? Because what it wants to do is lower the cortisol, lower the stress. But what it's actually doing is making it worse, because no one wants to think about someone when they don't have them. They want to get over it. But this starts happening. But this part can only start happening when you actually pull away 100%, ladies, and he actually has something unique to miss. Okay, and then the brain's like, oh shit, did you regret this? Because we're risk avoidant. Did I make the wrong decision? And then when he starts stressing over it, it starts flooding his mind. And then he might come back around. But unfortunately, you never see this part, ladies, because you don't do the first part. Either you don't fully pull away, or you let him back in, or he thinks he can have you, or you ask me, you know, is he going to come back? And then I hear your story. It's like, no, why the hell would he come back? You're crazy. You know, things like that. So that being said, ladies, if you just want to prevent all this and get my my guide down below to maximize attraction, to 10x your chances with him, to have him see you long term, that is down below. I love you all. Take care and peace.